Hey everyone, my name is Alex. I'm 24, I live in a small town in northern Ohio that nobody's ever heard of, and for the last 2 years I've been working the night shift at Quick Stop, this little 24-hour gas station and convenience store right where Route 17 turns into nothing but cornfields and pine trees. It's the only place open for miles, so we get truckers, cops, drunk college kids, and the occasional lost tourist. The pay isn't great, but the hours are quiet. Most nights I just restock shelves, mop up spilled coffee, and watch YouTube on my phone until the sun comes up. A normal shift for me starts at 10:45 p.m. when I relieve Sarah, the evening girl. I count the drawer, check the pumps, turn off half the lights to save electricity, and then it's just me, the humming coolers, and the security cameras. The store always smells like old pizza, bleach, and that fake pine air freshener the owner buys in bulk. Outside, there's one flickering street lamp and a big gravel lot where the semis park. Past that, it's black. You can't even see the tree line most nights because the fog rolls in off the fields. I've always kind of liked the silence. My whole life I've been a night owl, so sitting there with my energy drink and my playlist felt safe. Normal. At least, that's what I told myself. But lately, even before any of this happened, things felt a tiny bit off. Like, the security cameras would sometimes show static for a split second even though the Wi-Fi was fine. Or the motion sensor lights out by the dumpsters would turn on by themselves at 3:17 a.m. every single night. I timed it. Every night, 3:17 exactly. I asked my boss about it once and he just laughed and said, "Old building, old wiring. Don't worry about it." So I stopped mentioning it. Another thing, the walk-in cooler in the back always feels colder than it should. The thermometer says 34 degrees, but when you step inside it hits you like you opened a freezer in the Arctic. Your breath fogs instantly, and sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it feels like someone just walked past you even though you're completely alone back there. And then there's the mirrors. There are 2 of those curved security mirrors up by the ceiling so you can see around corners. I swear sometimes when I glance up at them, my reflection is a half second behind. Like it's lagging. I blink, it blinks a moment later. I've tested it when the store is empty. It's probably just cheap glass or something, but it always makes the hair on my neck stand up. Anyway, I pushed all that to the back of my mind. Just little quirks of the job, right? Every night shift worker has stories like that. The night everything started was a Tuesday in early November. Cold, windy, typical Ohio fall. I came in at 10:45 like always. Sarah looked relieved to see me. She said it had been dead all evening, grabbed her coat, and left. I locked the door behind her, turned the sign to open, and started my routine. The first couple hours were completely normal. A trucker bought 2 Red Bulls and a pack of Camels. A cop stopped in for coffee. After that, nothing. Just the wind rattling the windows and the low hum of the lights. Around 1:30 a.m. I was restocking the cigarette wall behind the counter when I felt it, I don't know, watched. You know that prickly feeling on the back of your neck? Like someone is staring at you from behind. I turned around fast. Nobody there. The store was empty. But in the curved mirror above aisle 3, I saw something, just for a second. There was a shape. Tall. Way too tall to be a normal person. Standing completely still at the end of the chip aisle, half hidden in shadow. Its head almost touched the ceiling. The fluorescent light above it was flickering like it was struggling. I blinked, and when I looked again, it was gone. I stood there frozen, heart hammering. I even grabbed the baseball bat we keep under the counter and walked the entire store, every aisle, the bathrooms, the stockroom, the cooler. Nothing. No customers. No footprints on the wet floor. Nothing. I told myself it was just tired eyes playing tricks. Too much screen time. I laughed it off, but my hands were shaking when I made another coffee. I went back behind the counter, sat down, and tried to calm down, but that's when I noticed the job application sitting on the counter. It hadn't been there earlier. I know it hadn't. Sarah would have said something, and I'd wiped the counter twice already. It was just one sheet of paper, filled out in neat handwriting. Name, Marcus Reed. Phone number, all zeros. Previous experience, left blank. Availability, any night. Only nights. At the bottom, in the section that asks, "Why do you want to work at Quick Stop?" he had written a single sentence in tiny, perfect letters: "I've been waiting a very long time to come inside." I stared at it for a long time. Then I looked up at the clock. It was exactly 3:17 a.m. And the motion sensor lights by the dumpsters just turned on. The next night after I found that application, I almost called in sick. My stomach was in knots the whole drive to work. But rent was due, so at 10:40 p.m. I pulled into the empty lot anyway. The motion lights by the dumpsters flickered on as soon as my headlights hit them, like they were expecting me. Inside, everything looked normal. Sarah had left a note: "Super dead tonight. Good luck." I threw Marcus Reed's application in the trash, but 10 minutes later I dug it out again and stuck it in the drawer under the register. I don't know why. I just needed to keep it. The first weird thing happened at 11:47 p.m. A customer walked in, older guy, trucker hat, flannel shirt, and went straight to the coffee island. I said the usual, "Hey, how's it going?" He didn't answer. Just stood there pouring coffee, staring at me over the rim of the pot. Not blinking. Just staring. I looked away, looked back, and he was still staring. Finally he paid, still silent, and left. When I watched the security footage later, his face was completely blurred, like the camera couldn't focus on him. But in person it had looked perfectly normal. After that, the phones started. The store has two lines, the main register phone and the payphone outside by the air pump. Around 1:15 a.m. the payphone rang. Nobody ever uses that thing. I let it ring. It rang 23 times, I counted. Then it stopped. 30 seconds later the inside phone rang. I picked up. Nothing but soft breathing, slow and deep. I said, "Hello," 3 times. The breathing got closer to the receiver, like whoever it was leaned in. Then a man's voice, calm and low, said just one word, "Soon." And hung up. I told myself it was a prank. Kids, probably. I tried to laugh it off. At 2:08 a.m. I was in the stockroom when I heard footsteps on the roof. Slow, heavy steps walking from one end of the building to the other. Crunch, pause, crunch, pause. I froze. The roof is flat, but there's no ladder on the outside, and the only hatch is bolted from the inside. The steps stopped right above me. I waited, holding my breath. Then something scratched the ceiling, long and slow, like fingernails dragging across metal. I ran back to the front, grabbed the bat, and called my buddy Chris, who works nights at the warehouse across the highway. I told him everything. He laughed and said I was just tired, maybe needed to cut back on the energy drinks. "Bro, it's an old building. Rats, wind, whatever. Chill." I didn't chill. At 2:47 a.m. the power flickered. When it came back, every single security monitor showed the same thing: a tall figure standing in aisle 5, completely still, head tilted like it was listening. The timestamp on every screen read 3:17 a.m., even though it wasn't even 3 yet. I ran to aisle 5. Empty. But on the floor was a single Polaroid picture. It showed the front of my apartment building, taken from the street. My bedroom window had a perfect handprint on the inside of the glass, like someone had pressed their palm against it from the inside while looking out. I live on the 2nd floor. No balcony. No fire escape. I started shaking so hard I dropped the photo. I called the cops. The officer who came was a guy I went to high school with, Tyler. He looked at the picture, looked at me, and said, "Could be Photoshop. Or somebody messing with you. We'll drive by your place, but honestly, Alex, you look like you haven't slept in days." He was trying to be nice, but I could tell he didn't believe me. I barely made it to sunrise. When my relief showed up at 6 a.m., I sped home, checked every lock twice, and passed out with the lights on. I thought the worst was over. I was wrong. That afternoon I woke up to 17 missed calls from the store number. I called back. My boss answered, confused. "Alex, nobody's here yet. The morning girl just opened. Phone hasn't rung all day." I hung up and looked out my window. Across the street, under the big maple tree, someone was standing. Tall. Too tall. Wearing a black hoodie pulled low. Just standing there, perfectly still, facing my building. I grabbed my phone to take a picture. By the time I raised it, the figure was gone. But on my doorstep, someone had left a white envelope. Inside was a new job application, same neat handwriting. Name, Marcus Reed. Phone, all zeros again. Availability, tonight. And every night after. At the bottom, in fresh red ink that still smelled metallic, he had added a new line, "I already know where you live, Alex. See you at 10:45. My car was parked right in front of the building. When I ran outside, all 4 tires were flat. Each one had a single long slice, too clean for a knife. More like a claw. And on my windshield, written in the frost even though it was 50 degrees out, were 5 words, "One more night. Then mine." I went in anyway. Rent, bills, and the sick feeling that if I didn't show up, Marcus would come to my apartment instead. I told myself I'd just work until the morning guy arrived, then quit for good. I even drove a different way to the store so nobody could follow me. When I pulled into the lot at 10:42 p.m., every single light in the parking lot was out. Pitch black except for the red glow of the open sign inside. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get the key in the door. The second I stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind me on its own. Not wind. Slammed. Like someone yanked it. The bell rang once, loud, then nothing. Dead silence. No hum from the coolers. No clock ticking. Even my footsteps didn't make noise on the tile. I flipped every light switch. Nothing worked. The only light came from the drink coolers in the back and the little red exit sign above the door. Everything else was swallowed by darkness. I pulled out my phone to call 911. No signal. 0 bars. The Wi-Fi was gone too. Then I heard it. Breathing. Slow, deep, wet breathing coming from somewhere inside the store. Not from the aisles, from everywhere. Like the whole building was breathing with one giant set of lungs. I grabbed the baseball bat and walked behind the counter, trying to stay calm. My heart was smashing against my ribs so hard I could feel it in my teeth. I kept whispering, it's okay, but my voice cracked like a little kid's. That's when the power snapped back on. All the fluorescent lights flared at once, too bright, buzzing like angry insects. For half a second the store looked normal. Then I saw him. He was standing at the end of aisle 7. 7 feet tall at least, maybe more. Black hoodie up, face hidden in shadow, but I could see pale skin on his hands, too pale, almost gray. His arms were too long, the sleeves didn't reach his wrists. He was perfectly still, head tilted like he was listening to my heartbeat. I couldn't move. My legs felt filled with cement. He took 1 step forward. Slow. His shoe didn't make a sound, but the floor creaked anyway, like it was scared of him. Another step. Another. Each one brought a wave of cold that rolled over me, freezer cold, the same cold from the walk-in but worse. I finally found my voice and screamed, "Get out! We're closed!" He stopped. Then, so quiet I almost missed it, he laughed. A low, wet sound, like someone laughing underwater. The lights started flickering again, faster and faster. Between every flicker, he was closer. Flick, 10 feet away. Flick, 6 feet. Flick, right on the other side of the counter. I swung the bat with everything I had. It passed straight through him like he was smoke. The force spun me around and I fell hard, bat clattering away. When I looked up, he was leaning over the counter. His hood was still up, but I could see his face now. No eyes. Just black pits that went down forever. His mouth was too wide, stretched ear to ear, full of small sharp teeth that didn't look human. He opened it slowly and whispered my name. Alex. My full name. First, middle, and last. The smell hit me, old meat and damp earth. I scrambled backward on my hands until I hit the cigarette wall. He reached for me. His fingers were way too long, joints bending wrong, nails black and pointed. I don't remember standing up. I just remember running. I bolted for the stockroom door, slammed it behind me, and shoved a whole shelf in front of it. The metal shelf screeched across the floor. I could hear him on the other side, walking slow, dragging those nails along the door. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Then silence. I stood there shaking, tears running down my face, trying not to breathe too loud. My phone flashlight showed the back exit, 20 feet away. I took one step toward it. The walk-in cooler door behind me creaked open by itself. Frost poured out like smoke. Inside the cooler, every single light was off except one, right in the middle, shining down on him. He was standing dead center among the boxes of beer, head almost touching the ceiling, staring straight at me. I screamed and ran for the back door. Threw the deadbolt, yanked it open, and stumbled outside into the dumpsters. The cold night air hit my face like salvation. I sprinted across the gravel lot toward my car. Halfway there, every motion light exploded at once, glass raining down. In the flashes I saw him step out the back door behind me, slow and calm, like he had all the time in the world. I got my keys out, hands shaking so bad I dropped them twice. Finally got the door open and dove inside, slamming it locked. He was 20 feet away. Then 10. Then he was right outside my driver window. His face pressed against the glass. No breath fog. Just those empty black holes and that horrible smile. He raised one hand and placed it flat on the window, right in front of my face. The glass frosted over instantly, cracking in a perfect handprint. I turned the key. The engine roared. I threw it in reverse and floored it. In the rear-view mirror I saw him standing in the middle of the lot, not moving, just watching me leave. I didn't stop driving until I was 30 miles away, crying and hyperventilating on the side of the highway. When I finally looked back at the dashboard clock, it was frozen at 3:17 a.m. And my phone, which had no signal all night, suddenly lit up with one new text message from a blocked number. It was a photo. Taken from inside my car, passenger seat, while I was driving. He was sitting right next to me, hood down now, smiling at the camera with all those teeth. The caption underneath read, "Tomorrow night you won't escape." I never went back to Quick Stop. Not even to pick up my last check. I drove straight to the county sheriff's office that same morning, still wearing my work shirt, still smelling like freezer burn and fear. I showed them the photo on my phone, the one taken from inside my car while I was driving. The deputy's face went pale. They kept my phone for evidence, sent 2 cars to the store, and told me to go home and lock my doors. The store was empty when they got there. Doors unlocked, lights on, registers full of money, but no damage, no footprints, no sign anyone had ever been there except me. The security footage from the whole night was nothing but static. My boss called me later that day screaming that I'd left the place wide open and cost him thousands in stolen beer. When I tried to explain, he just said, "You're done, Alex. Don't come back." I didn't fight it. I moved out of my apartment 2 days later. Packed everything into my mom's garage up near Cleveland and told my family a short version: bad stalker, needed a fresh start. They believed the stalker part. They didn't believe the rest. My mom kept saying I looked like I'd seen a ghost. I had. It's been 7 weeks now. I got a day job at a warehouse. No nights, ever again. I don't go into gas stations after dark. I don't even like driving past them. When I have to stop for gas, I use the pumps farthest from the store, pay at the pump, and keep the car running. I flinch at tall shadows. I check my back seat every single time I get in the car. I installed cameras outside my mom's house and I watch the footage every night before bed like it's homework. I sleep with the lights on. I still wake up at 3:17 a.m. on the heart racing, soaked in sweat. I thought distance would fix it. I thought quitting would fix it. I thought telling the story, even just to you guys, would get it out of my head. It didn't. 3 nights ago, I got a new phone because the police still have my old one. Same number, new device. Last night at exactly 3:17 a.m., it rang. Private caller. I didn't answer. It rang 23 times, same as the payphone that night, then stopped. A minute later a text came through. One photo. It was the inside of my childhood bedroom, the one I'm sleeping in right now. Taken from the corner by the closet. The angle is high, almost ceiling level. In the bed you can see me, asleep on my back, mouth open. The timestamp on the photo is from 4 minutes before the call. While I was supposedly alone in a locked house. There was no caption this time. Just the picture. I haven't slept since. The police came again this morning. They checked the house, the attic, the crawlspace. Nothing. No footprints in the snow outside my window. No fingerprints. The camera that points at my bedroom door didn't record anyone coming or going all night. The deputy looked sorry for me, the kind of sorry that means he thinks I'm losing my mind. Maybe I am. But here's the thing nobody else knows: this morning when I went to throw away the box my new phone came in, I found something tucked underneath it in the trash. A single sheet of paper. Clean, white, folded once. A job application. Name, Marcus Reed. Phone number, all zeros. Availability, any night you need me. At the bottom, in that same perfect handwriting, one new line: "Thank you for training me, Alex. I only needed one night. Now it's my turn to work forever." So here I am, uploading this at 4:48 a.m., every light in the house burning, every door triple locked, baseball bat across my lap. And I can't stop asking myself the question that hurts the most. What if the reason he only worked one night at our store was because he doesn't need to work there anymore, now that he's working the night shift wherever I am? If you work nights, check the new guy's application. And whatever you do, don't let him train on your shift. Because if you're watching this right now, maybe he's already standing behind you. Sweet dreams, guys. I don't think I'll ever have them again.